uncovering the awareness field that unites the universe. What if your mind isn't just in your head? What if it's part of a vast, invisible awareness field that connects every living being and even influences the very fabric of the universe? Now, this isn't science fiction. It's a highly speculative and controversial idea that a few thinkers on the fringes of physics are asking us to consider. They think they might be seeing the ghost in the machine of reality. To mainstream science, this is a step way too far. They argue it's not a new force of nature, but the story they tell to explain consciousness might be even stranger. Who's right? And what would it mean for us if this awareness field were real? Section 1. The ghost in the machine of reality. For centuries, we've held a simple assumption. Consciousness is something that happens inside our skulls. It's a byproduct of the brain, a complex electrical storm in the 3 pounds of tissue between our ears that, through some miracle of biology, gives rise to our every thought, feeling, and experience. But what if that assumption is wrong? What if the brain doesn't create consciousness? What if, instead, it acts more like a highly sophisticated radio receiver? A biological antenna, tuned to a fundamental field of awareness that permeates the entire cosmos. Just like gravity or electromagnetism, this is the core of one of the most provocative and divisive ideas in science. The hypothesis that consciousness is not an emergent property, but a fundamental one. A primary building block of the universe. In this view, the universe isn't just a collection of dead matter and empty space that accidentally woke up on one tiny planet. Instead, awareness is woven into its very fabric. It's an idea that resonates with our deep intuitions about interconnectedness, and it's one that a courageous, if small, group of thinkers is taking seriously. They're proposing that consciousness could be a literal, physical force of nature. Some even call it a fifth fundamental force beyond the 4 we know. But to propose a new force is to challenge the very foundations of physics. And the scientific establishment has built a formidable wall of counter-arguments. This is the story of that clash. A battle of ideas that pushes the limits of what we think we know about reality itself. Section 2. The case for a conscious universe. The idea of a universal consciousness isn't new. It's a cornerstone of ancient philosophies. But bringing it into the world of physics requires more than just philosophy. It requires a champion, preferably one with credentials. This is where figures like physicist John Hagelin enter the story. Hagelin, a Harvard-trained quantum physicist, put forth a radical claim that the so-called unified field, a theoretical concept uniting all forces and particles into a single equation, is identical to a universal field of pure consciousness. It's crucial to note that this specific identification is rejected by virtually all mainstream physicists and is considered outside of standard scientific models. To support these kinds of ideas, proponents often point to evidence that lies far outside the physics lab. They cite studies on the effects of mass meditation, like the Maharishi effect, claiming that large groups meditating together can cause measurable decreases in local crime rates. To them, this is evidence of a consciousness field at work. However, these studies have been heavily criticized by the broader scientific community for methodological flaws, lack of proper controls, and failure to be independently replicated. And the speculation doesn't stop there. Some fringe theories have hypothesized a specific particle for consciousness, sometimes called a psychon, which would theoretically carry this mental force, just as a photon carries the electromagnetic force. However, there is no well-developed, empirically supported model for such a particle. nor any hint of it in high-energy physics experiments. More recently, a few theoretical papers, such as a 2024 proposal by materials scientist Maria Stroma, continue to explore mathematical ways to integrate a universal consciousness directly into the framework of physics. Though this remains a very niche and speculative line of work, proponents often ground their arguments in the genuine, unresolved mysteries of quantum mechanics. The famous double-slit experiment shows that subatomic particles behave differently when they are measured. And quantum entanglement reveals that two particles can be linked so that measuring one instantly correlates with the state of the other, no matter the distance. To a small group of thinkers, consciousness is the obvious answer to these puzzles. But most physicists explain these effects through physical interaction and measurement, with no need to invoke a conscious observer. Section 3. The wall of mainstream science. So if some sort of case can be made, and if it potentially speaks to deep mysteries, why isn't the awareness field a part of mainstream science? The answer lies in the rigorous and often brutal demands of the scientific method. The first major hurdle is the lack of specific, repeatable, and quantitative evidence. While studies like the Maharishi effect are intriguing to some, the broader scientific community has been unable to replicate the results with the necessary rigor to rule out other social or statistical factors. Science demands proof that can be tested by anyone, anywhere, and produce the same result. Claims about a consciousness field have not met that high bar. The second hurdle is the particle problem. Every fundamental force we know has a corresponding carrier particle. Electromagnetism has the photon. The strong nuclear force has the gluon. If consciousness were a fifth force, it too should have a carrier particle we can detect. For decades, physicists have run ultra-high precision experiments, looking for any deviation from the standard model that might hint at a new force. While these experiments have placed extremely tight constraints on what a new force could look like, they've found nothing. Furthermore, most consciousness field proposals are too vaguely defined to be directly tested or ruled out by this data anyway. But the third, and perhaps most powerful counter-argument, is a concept from quantum physics itself: decoherence. The strange quantum effects that some consciousness theories rely on, like superposition, are incredibly fragile. They typically exist only in highly isolated, controlled environments. The brain, by contrast, is warm, wet, and electrically chaotic. Mainstream physicists argue that any delicate quantum state large enough to be involved in conscious thought would be destroyed by its environment in fractions of a second, a process called decoherence. The ghost in the machine would vanish before it could even form. Section 4. Not a new force, but something stranger. This is where the story takes a turn. Because the mainstream rebuttal isn't just a rejection, it contains its own profound and arguably stranger idea about the nature of reality. The mainstream explanation for consciousness isn't that it's simple, it's that it's emergent. Emergence is one of the most awe-inspiring concepts in all of science. It's the principle that simple components, following simple rules, can give rise to breathtakingly complex and unpredictable systems. A single water molecule doesn't have the property of wetness, but 1 trillion of them create a crashing ocean wave. A single neuron isn't conscious. It doesn't hold memories or feel love. But 86 billion of them, connected in a network of trillions of synapses, somehow create the entirety of your inner world. This is what modern neuroscience is built on: the idea that consciousness is not a fundamental field we tune into, but an emergent property of complex information processing. It's the music that matter makes when it becomes organized in a specific, intricate way. like in a brain. And this is the something stranger promised at the beginning. The truly mind-bending idea isn't necessarily that a spooky field connects us all. The truly strange idea is that the four known forces of nature acting on ordinary matter are enough. That through the slow, blind process of evolution, atoms and molecules can arrange themselves into a configuration so complex that it becomes self-aware. That the universe, without any new force or field, can wake up and look back at itself. This reframes the entire debate. It's not a question of science versus spirituality. It's a question of two different, equally profound scientific possibilities. Is consciousness fundamental, a signal broadcast across the cosmos that our brain receives? Or is consciousness emergent, a symphony that matter itself learns to play? Conclusion. So we find ourselves at a crossroads between two magnificent ideas. On one side, the theory of a fundamental field of awareness, a proposal that satisfies our deep-seated feeling of unity and offers a fringe but tantalizing potential answer to quantum puzzles. On the other, the theory of emergence, where the known laws of physics, given enough complexity, can produce the miracle of subjective experience from non-living matter, a testament to the universe's incredible creative power. This debate will not be settled by argument, but by evidence. To prove that consciousness is a fundamental force would require a revolution. It would demand a reproducible experiment demonstrating a conscious effect on matter under the strictest conditions. The door to this idea isn't locked, but science demands an extraordinary key to open it. So where does that leave us? Is consciousness a signal we receive, or is it the music that matter makes when it becomes complex enough to hear itself? And what does our relentless search for the answer, our deep-seated need to understand our own awareness, truly say about us? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Do you believe consciousness is fundamental or emergent? And if you enjoy exploring the biggest questions in science, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss our next journey into the unknown.